I found something else at Common Dreams from one of the writers there. And the headline of this said, Democrats raise concerns over creepy role of Kevin McCarthy super PAC in these negotiations to try to get this empty vessel in as Speaker of the House. And the article starts out by asking a question. The question is this: why is a billionaire-funded super PAC aligned with Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy? Why is it playing a role in talks over who will become the next Speaker of the House? A billionaire-funded super PAC. Well, okay. And then the article goes on to explain that Democratic lawmakers and campaign finance watchdogs raised the question yesterday after two organizations, the Congressional Leadership Fund and the Club for Growth. Those are both right-wing organizations that are bankrolled by billionaires, and they have nothing to do with good governance. They have nothing to do with progressive policies. They have everything to do with the kind of capitalism that is a conjoined twin with fascism. That's what those two organizations are about. And they announced a deal under which the Congressional Leadership Fund won't spend any money on what they call, quote, open seat primaries in safe Republican districts, which is a key demand of those opposed to McCarthy, who felt that their preferred candidates, these right-wing nutcases, have been snubbed by the deep-pocketed super Political Action Committee. So what Fortune magazine reported on their website yesterday is this, quote, far-right lawmakers have complained that their preferred candidates for the House were being treated unfairly as the campaign fund, that's the Congressional Leadership Fund, put its resources elsewhere, end quote. And what that, the way that translated for me is that these neo-fascists in this country, or neo-Nazis, or Christian terrorists, whatever, they're all pissed off because they weren't being funded to the same level as what's left of the traditional Republican Party. In other words, they were complained about being treated unfairly because the money was going elsewhere. So the two money organizations, Congressional Leadership Fund and the Club for Growth, said, okay, here's what we'll do. We won't spend any money where it concerns open seat primaries if it's in a safe Republican district, where a Democrat doesn't have a chance. They'll let the Republicans bloody each other, and the most right-wing lying son of a bitch, read George Santos, I guess, will wind up as being that district's representative. Now, the Congressional Leadership Fund spent nearly $260 million during the 2022 election cycle. And that included millions of dollars were spent to reelect Republicans who were trying to destroy this useless human waste called Kevin McCarthy. The top donors in this midterm cycle were mostly bankers like Timothy Mellon, a scion of the Mellon family, the CEO of Blackstone, Stephen Schwartzman, and the CEO of Citadel Finance, Kenneth Griffin. All these people are billionaires. And, you know, my thought has always been, why don't these people, after they have ripped and stolen and polluted the planet, making their billions, because you don't make billions of dollars unless you're a massively skilled grifter, manipulator. It is impossible otherwise. You have to know how to move people, move nations, cheat, lie, and steal, all within the boundaries of the letter of the law, if certainly not the spirit of the law. So there's no such thing as an honestly gotten billionaire fund. It does not exist on this planet. I hope you agree with me on that. So my question is always being, what are these son of a bitches doing now that they have unspeakable piles of cash, that they can do anything they want? They can buy goddamn countries if they want to. Why do they have to set about destroying the political system in this country and other countries? And the quickest answer I can come up with is because it will add to their stack of cash. Because if they can refigure the political structure of a country to their benefit, it means they can steal even more money that they'll never be able to spend, or their grandchildren or great-grandchildren to the 10th goddamn generation would never be able to spend this kind of money. It is some sort of alien greed that we don't understand. We common humans don't understand this greed. Oh, you and I could be greedy sometimes. Oh, I drive a Ford. I wish I drive a Cadillac. If that's greed, okay. But this, where you are willing to destroy a political system and take down the nation with it in order to set up a political structure that will make you even more money? Now, apparently, according to Common Dreams, this deal that was struck between these two super PACs, Congressional Leadership Fund and the Club for Growth, the deal came as McCarthy continued his insane efforts to somehow stitch together the necessary 218 votes that he needs to be Speaker. And in order to do that, he's offering all kinds of concessions to the fascist Republicans, Christian terrorists, who have in, 7 consecutive votes now? I think there was one today. I've lost count. Have rejected McCarthy. And there were to be more votes today. It was 6 as of yesterday. There were to be more votes today. A Democratic senator from Hawaii, Brian Schatz, was among those who raised the concern over the Club for Growth and Congressional Leadership Fund's role in this continuing speakership debacle. On Twitter, quote, "It is creepy that dark money super PACs are explicitly part of the negotiation regarding who becomes Speaker of the United States House," end quote. Now, of course, federal law, don't laugh, prohibits candidates from coordinating with super PACs. Even though the independence mandate that is supposed to keep them separate is looked at as bullshit. Nobody follows that. In a press release, the Congressional Leadership Fund and the Club for Growth insisted that, quote, "No one in Congress or their staff has directed or suggested Congressional Leadership Fund take any action here," end quote. Right. Nobody. Nothing. There's no one here. No one home. The hall is empty. We don't know where all this came from. Adam Smith, no, not him. Adam Smith, the Action Fund Director of End Citizens United, which I certainly support. Adam Smith said, quote, "Interesting that an independent super PAC that isn't supposed to coordinate with members of Congress comes to an agreement to benefit a specific member of Congress," end quote. But that is the kind of disrespect that these Christian demons have for law in this country, for political honesty, for political justice. Those concepts do not exist. They simply do not. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy. 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.